Chapter 6, Dinosaur Valley. "Annie, look at this!" Jack called. "Look what I found!" Annie had gone up to the hilltop. She was busy picking a flower from the magnolia tree. "Annie, look! A medallion!" But Annie wasn't paying attention to Jack. She was staring at something on the other side of the hill. "Oh, wow," she said. "Annie!" Clutching her magnolia flower. She took off down the hill. "Annie, come back!" Jack shouted, but Annie had disappeared. "I'm going to kill her," Jack muttered. He stuffed that gold medallion into his jean pocket. Then he heard Annie shriek, "Ah! Annie!" Jack heard another sound as well, a deep bellowing sound like a tuba. "Annie!" Jack grabbed his backpack and raced up the hill. When he got to the top, he gasped. The valley below was filled with nests, big nests made out of mud, and the nests were filled with tiny dinosaurs. Annie was crouching next to one of the nests, and standing over her was a gigantic duck-billed dinosaur. "Don't panic. Don't move," said Jack, and he stepped slowly down towards the hill toward Annie. The huge dinosaur was towering above Annie, waving her arms, making her tuba sound. Jack stopped. He didn't want to get too close. He knelt down on the ground. "Okay, move toward me slowly," he said. Annie started to stand up. "Don't stand. Crawl," said Jack, clutching her flower. Annie crawled toward Jack. The duck-billed dinosaur followed her, still bellowing. Annie froze. "Keep going," Jack said softly. Annie started crawling again. Jack inched further down the hill until he was just an arm's distance from Annie. He reached out and grabbed her hand. He pulled Annie towards him. "Stay down," he said. He crouched next to her. "Bow your head and pretend to chew." "Chew?" "Yes. I read that's what you do if a mean dog comes to you." "She's no dog, Jack," said Annie. "Just chew," said Jack. Jack and Annie both bowed their heads and pretended to chew. Soon the dinosaur grew quiet. Jack raised his head. "I don't think she's mad anymore," he said. "Thanks, Jack, for saving me," said Annie. "You have to use your brain," said Jack. "You can't just go running to the nest of babies. There's always a mother nearby." Annie stood up. "Annie?" Too late. Annie held out her magnolia flower to the dinosaur. "I'm sorry I made you worry about your babies," she said. The dinosaur moved closer to Annie. She grabbed the flower from her. She reached for another. "No more," said Annie. The dinosaur let out a sad tuba sound. "But there's more flowers up there," Annie said. She pointed to the top of the hill. "I'll go get you some." Annie hurried up the hill. The dinosaur waddled after her. Jack quickly examined the babies. Some were crawling out of the nests. Where were the other mothers? Jack took out the dinosaur book. He flipped through the pages, and he found a picture of some duck-billed dinosaurs, and he read the caption. "An Ankylosaurus lived in colonies. While a few mothers babysat the nests, others hunted for food. Oh, so there must be more mothers close by." "Hey, Jack!" Annie called. Jack looked up. Annie was at the top of the hill, feeding magnolia flowers to the giant Ankylosaurus. "She's nice too, Jack," Annie said. But suddenly, the Ankylosaurus made her terrible tuba sound, and Annie crouched down and started to chew. The dinosaur barged down the hill. She seemed afraid of something, but Jack put the book down on top of his backpack. and he hurried up to Annie. There's Annie. I wonder why she ran away, said Annie. We were just starting to be friends. Annie looked around. What he saw in the distance almost made him throw up. An enormous, ugly monster was coming across the plain. He was walking on 2 big legs and swinging a long, thick tail and dangling 2 tiny arms. He had a huge head and his jaws opened wide. Even from far away, Jack could see his long, gleaming teeth. Tyrannosaurus Rex, whispered Jack.